I'm Arjola from Gardner's Bay. This is the Rorschach, Georgia update from the 8th of August, 2024. Quick summary of what's going down in Georgia. Thursday the 8th, there was a big talk about Russia refusing to pay compensation for 2008 war victims. Even though the European Court of Human Rights said Russia must pay, Russia ignored it. Over 20,000 people lost their homes or still struggling, with many living in temporary shelters. Georgian government and human rights groups are looking for other ways to help them, like setting up international funds or getting more support from various other countries. Thanks to our most astute South Carolina listener for sharing this story with us. Moving on. On Thursday the 1st, U.S. sanctioned Georgian officials due to the Russian law, which mandates NGOs receiving over 20% of their funding from abroad to register as foreign agents. As everybody knows, the law mirrors a similar Russian regulation from 10 years ago. The U.S. State Department also imposed travel bans on some members of the Georgian Dream, or Otsneba party, leading to widespread discussions about Georgia's political alignment and its closeness to Russia. These sanctions have been much discussed by Georgian government officials, many of whom might like to go to the U.S. one of these days, because it includes their family members particularly. However, on Tuesday the 6th, U.S. officials said they are ready to restore relations with Georgia if the Georgian government returns to its original democratic course. U.S. emphasized the need for Georgia to uphold its commitment to democracy and human rights to promote stronger bilateral relations. On Tuesday the 6th, the public defender of Georgia visited villages near the administrative boundary line, or ABL, to see how people live. These villages are close to Russian-controlled areas, face a lot of problems, including frequent security threats. Residents talked about issues like not having enough access to health care and schools due to proximity to the conflict zone and living in constant fear of being detained by Russian forces. Public defenders stressed the need for the Georgian government to provide more support for the international community to pay attention to these human rights issues. Back on the 2008 war, on Thursday the 8th, Shalva Papuashvili, a parliamentary speaker, gave a speech at the Mukhatgverdi Brothers Cemetery to honor its victims. In keeping with Otsneba's talking points, he talked about how fragile peace is and how important it is for leaders to maintain it. He referred to, quote, the war killing many soldiers and civilians rather than Russia killing many soldiers and civilians, and that the war left thousands homeless, causing long-term trauma and displacement. Papuashvili said we need to remember these sacrifices and work together to keep peace and stability in Georgia. He also called for greater unity and resilience among Georgian people, but did not mention the irony of Otsneba's hugely divisive electoral campaign and overall political positioning. On Thursday the 8th, Irakli Garibashvili, Prime Minister of Georgia, trying to get more conversation going about Misha, called for a full investigation into crimes committed by Misha Saakashvili and the United National Movement during the 2008 war. He pointed out specific incidents where it was alleged that war crimes and abuses had occurred, including actions that had severe consequences for many Georgians. Garibashvili emphasized that justice must be served even if the legal process is complicated and politically charged. So no mention of Russia. And more irony. Meanwhile, on the same day, keeping up with the cynical divisiveness, Otsneba introduced a draft law aiming at restricting LGBTQ+ rights. The proposed legislation seeks a public ban of events promoting LGBTQ+ values and complicates adoption process for same-sex couples, all under the banner of protecting traditional family values, whatever those are. This move has sparked widespread protests and criticism from human rights groups domestically and internationally because the bill represents a significant setback for human rights in Georgia. In a significant infrastructure update on Monday the 5th, plans for rehabilitating the road connecting Lentechi and Mestia in Svaneti were announced. Supposedly, it'll be completed within 2024. We'll believe it when we see it. Following on to tech news, on Wednesday the 7th, a new tech hub is set to open in Kutaisi. The tech hub aims to foster innovation and support startup and tech companies. It will provide state-of-the-art facilities and resources, including co-working spaces, mentorship programs, and access to funding. On Monday the 5th, Georgian judoka Lasha Bekauri made history by becoming a two-time Olympic champion in the Paris 2024 Olympics. Bekauri, who competed in the men's 90-kilo category, faced a dramatic final match against Japan's Shoichiro Mukai. Bekauri's victory was celebrated nationwide with fans cheering on the streets. The cultural front, on Thursday, the first Zurab Tsereteli Museum of Modern Art in Tbilisi opened an exhibition entitled New Faith, featuring contemporary works exploring themes of belief and spirituality. The exhibition includes pieces from various artists, each offering unique interpretations of faith and its role in modern society. The museum's director emphasized the importance of such exhibitions in fostering dialogue and understanding through art. On Monday the 5th, Mariam Firikishvili announced the development of a new resort in Racha to boost tourism and economic growth in the region. The resort will feature luxury accommodations, recreational facilities, cultural attractions designed to attract both domestic and international tourists. More tourism stuff. On Thursday the 1st, Georgia was nominated as Georgia's most desirable tourist destination at the Wanderlust Travel Awards. Political arena. On Monday the 5th, President Salome Zurabashvili reaffirmed her commitment to democratic values, stating that Otsneba will not be able to falsify the upcoming October elections. Let's hope so. Zurabashvili's remarks come amid ongoing concern about Georgia's electoral integrity and political stability. Her statement has been met with support from pro-democracy groups and international observers who stress the need for credible elections. On the same day, activist Zuka Berdzinashvili was attacked outside his home by 3 unknown assailants. Berdzinashvili, known for his outspoken criticism of the government, suffered head and facial injuries. The attackers struck him from behind while he was leaving his house, raising concerns about the safety of activists in Georgia. Berdzinashvili suspects the attack may be linked to recent accusations by Parliament Speaker Shalva Papuashvili, who labeled him and other activists as engaging in politically motivated terror. Human rights groups have called for a thorough investigation into the attack to ensure justice and protect activists. In another political development, on Tuesday the 6th, a new political coalition called Svilebistvis, Coalition for Change, was announced, including leaders like Nika Melia, Nika Gvaramia, members from Girchi and Droa. Coalition aims to challenge the current government and push for democratic reforms in the upcoming elections. The formation of this coalition represents a significant shift in the political landscape, with key opposition figures uniting to present a strong front against the ruling party. Coalition's goals include ensuring fair elections, promoting transparency, and addressing key social and economic issues. We look forward to their list negotiations. Hope they go well. Finally, on Monday the 5th, Parliamentary Speaker Shalva Papuashvili commented on the use of financial cooperation mechanisms as a tool for international pressure, stating, completely ridiculously, that such practices contradict international ethics. His remarks were in response to recent criticism and sanctions imposed on Georgian officials. Papuashvili underlined the importance of respecting national sovereignty and engaging in fair and constructive dialogue. OMG. And that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate all our listeners that subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other platforms, especially those who share the show with their friends and loved ones. If you ever want to share an episode by sending a small MP3 file to someone through a messaging app, you can download every episode directly from our website at Rorschach.com/Georgia. Thank you. Nachandis.